Herzog, 7 years old, Czechoslovakia.
Eliane, 13 years old, France.
Елизавета Леон, בת 12, אוקראינה.
Herman Freilich, 6 years old.
ליאון מויסטר, בן שנה, צרפת. קרלה הידלפון, years old. אנדרה הרצוג, 7 years old, צ'כוסלובקיה.
Sit down. Oh boy. Sure, that's an interesting morning. Really interesting. Just the whole thing as you were describing about the temple and the destruction and the suffering and and all that's gone now. There's those terrific pictures of the temple in the bookshop.
Sorry, may I disturb you a second? I don't want to be unpolite, but I hear something interesting.
Yeah.
May I ask you?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
You're talking about the destruction. I saw you. Where were you? Did you see it? Where did you see that?
The old town and the site of the temple where it was, and Ian was describing to me how it's all gone and knocked down, and the suffering that took place within the temple walls. Some quite vivid pictures of the children being eaten by
Suffering.
the suffering. Yeah, it's very difficult pictures to try and imagine. And
one of my big questions, Rabbi, is a blessed people chosen, called by God, and yet such terrible suffering over years, thousands of years. I can't reconcile that. I find it very hard.
May I tell you something which always keeps me at my mind. Rabbi Akiva, I suppose you heard the name, the famous Rabbi Akiva. He was the first time, it's written in the Talmud, the first time, the oral law, the first time he came to the place where everything was raised. The whole Temple Mount was raised. The Romans didn't want to leave any memory from the Jews. And he came with his friends, and they all started crying. The first time they saw it after the destruction. And he laughed. And they said to him, I'm saying now, what are you laughing? And they cried. He said, why do you cry? He says, have a look. I see the negative side came out exactly, so why should I not believe in the positive side? We have seen much more than Rabbi Akiva. We have seen 2,000 years. And we saw the Holocaust. Yeah. And we see the old people sitting in the streets of Jerusalem and the children dancing. So although destruction is terrible, these pictures, what you see and what you'll see this afternoon, is terrible, terrible, terrible. But God said it will be like this. The prophecy says it.
But how do you explain the suffering? When you see those images, it's awful. And yet the Jewish people went through that. How does one explain that in relation to God caring and loving the Jewish people?
Man is free in his choice. If Hitler and the Germans did what they did, they got their punishment, they get their punishment.
Right.
So he did with everyone, with us and with everyone. But God has his plans, runs the history. We don't understand how he runs it. But he said, I'm strict. He said, I make a quotation in Hebrew. Sorry that I do that, but it's kasher yaser avet beno, like a father punishes his son, so I will punish you. It's full of love for us, but we went wrong. We went wrong, and he saves us by getting us back again. It doesn't explain the Holocaust. I'm not trying to explain you. I don't explain the suffering, because many very, very righteous people were killed. But at least in the long run, we see the history of God comes out exactly as he said. Everything is in the book. It's all there. Our problems are, of many, also Jews, but also Christians, they don't open the book. My compliment that you ask, that you think and you ask. But everything is there, everything is written. Not once and not twice, Jews were told that there is a covenant. And they were told they have to live up to certain standards, and high standards. And they were told clearly, you can't even go around it. It's so clearly, if you don't listen to my word, God says, I won't give you this country. This country is promised to you, to Abraham, Isaac, Jacob and Isaac, but only when you live up to my words.
Right.
Herzog, 7 years old, Czechoslovakia.
Oude, 13 years old, France.
Елизавета Лео, בת 12, אוקראינה.
Herman Freilich, 6 years old,
ליאון אויסטר, בן שנה, צרפת.
Oude,
סבטלנה
13 years old,
3 years old.
France.
רגע בורשי, קרלה הגדלת, 2 years old.
9 years old,
אנדרה הרצוג, 7 years old, ליאון צ'כוסלובקיה, בן שנה. אליזבתה לאה, בת 12. ליאון הרצוג, 7 years old, צ'כוסלובקיה, אליזבתה לאה, בת 12. Andra Herzog, 7 years old, Czechoslovakia.
You must have gone. I thought you'd gone ahead of me by miles. Oh, you were way behind me then.
Way behind reading.
Okay.
Reading as much as I could.
Oh, good. Just absorbed it all.
Yeah, thanks.
It is good. This is new. I haven't been in this book before, but again, it just hits you. The extremity of it. It's just the whole incredulous, isn't it? Really.
I wanted to get out at one point.
You did.
I think.
Just too much.
Yeah, just and everywhere I turned, it was like, it's just another picture, another, heavy stuff.
Yeah, it is. But it happened, didn't it? That's the thing.
Yeah.
And some of the language and the pictures and stuff in there, I saw there.
I think languages are just as powerful as the pictures.
Oh, yeah.
When you read some quotations and
Propaganda.
no. There's just things that were spoken by children, mothers, fathers, poets, artists, survivors, people who died, and it's that impacted me just as much as pictures.
Yeah. What I saw in the German papers and the quotes, the cartoons and stuff.
That just reminds you of now, doesn't it?
They're making the Jews like some sort of animals or whatever.
Second-class
But
citizens.
it's exactly the same as you see in a lot of the press.
I thought about you when I was.
Seriously, and no, but who's paying attention now? That's what gets me every time. But I found it as moving as I always do. And I don't know how many times I've been here now, but people, it's just like we was talking about earlier, that consequence. Well, I know, but how do you? But then it leaves the question: how do you explain it? Do you have to explain it, or you just have to acknowledge it and
accept it?
And try and make sure it never happens again?
So it's almost taken away 6 million disobedient Jews. Oh dear. It's difficult because it's such a difficult question.
Yeah.
I don't upset anybody, but
I just thank God he doesn't deal with me on that level in my life, because God knows I'm worthy of some of these punishments, but the whole scale, slaughter,